Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another Transformers Legacy action figure review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Transformers Legacy Beast Wars Tarantulas. And yes, Tarantulas is probably one of, if not my favorite character from Beast Wars, besides maybe a couple others, and so now that I finally have him, does he live up to that hype? Well, taking a look at that packaging first, right up front here, it's got the nice image of Tarantulas in his Tarantula mode. Transformers Legacy, it's got a nice image of him with his up close on the robot face and his robot mode right there. It says Transformers, and it's got Takara. It says Legacy, got the artwork right there. Authentic Transformers! Here on the back of the box, you got the obligatory shots of him in his robot mode and his Tarantula mode, and then over here you got that barcode that shows the stats. And then taking a look at the barcode here, it's got that little gif of Tarantulas right there. It says his name's Tarantulas, he's a Predacon, he's from the Beast Wars era, and his function is a ninja warrior for some reason. It says he has an Energon buzzsaw, which has a bunch of Energon infused into each of the blades. And then, for some reason, in his bio, it says that he's not really a scientist. It says that he's a scientist, but here in his stats, it says that his skills are 8, his intelligence is a 4, and his speed is a 7, and his firepower is a 7. I found it weird that his intelligence is down to a 4. Anyway, that's it for Tarantulas. And yeah, that is basically it for the packaging. Taking a look at Tarantulas' 2 accessories here, he comes with a little saw blade here, which I don't really remember Tarantulas using a saw blade. I mean, with him being a scientist, it kind of makes sense. But I feel like this is an accessory that should have been included with the Transformers Prime Knockout, maybe, because he used a saw a lot more than Tarantulas did. And then Tarantulas comes with that grapple gun right there, just cast in black plastic. I'm pretty sure this is just an exact copy of the one that came with Black Arachnia, but hey, pretty nice accessory at that. Would have liked maybe some extra paint, but it's alright. And as far as I know, there is no way to store the accessories on him anywhere. And now taking an up-close look at Tarantulas, that head sculpt looks very spot on to the character's appearance from the Season 1 of the Beast Wars cartoon. And again, I also love the colors. The bright yellow complemented with the green on top of that purple just looks amazing. It's a great color combination, and it really makes this guy's head sculpt really stand out. And again, even though there's like barely any like expressiveness, it's very expressive just as is, if that makes sense. And the rest of the body, thankfully, has that same kind of texturing that they've been adding, that realistic texturing they've been adding on most of their recent Beast Wars figures. Comes down from the chest, down to coming down to the crotch with those spider eyes right there. Got the big spider legs here flaring out on the sides. I feel like they could have compressed these in a little bit better, but it's not too distracting. I mean, it's alright. And then he's got his claw hands right there with the yellow stripes. I don't really have any complaints about the actual way how the robot mode looks. It's mostly in the articulation, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Coming down to the hips, the guy, he's got some very nice purple hips. And I didn't notice this earlier, but he actually has a Predacon logo right there. Purple on purple. That was not my idea, but someone thought that was a good idea. And then he's got the green and yellow. Just overall, the colors look great. His robot mode just looks spot on to that original model. Even down to the backpack with this big old spot right here on his back with those nice golden pattern right there. Looks very good. I really love how this guy came out. Going over his articulation, his head sculpt is on this slight ball joint thing at the base of the neck, which allows for his head to swivel side to side. It can shift up and down, pivot just a teeny bit, but that's really about it. And then he does, due to transformation, he does have these butterfly joints. Very nice. And then one of my issues with the articulation is because of the way how these spider leg base is sculpted, it kind of gets in the way of his shoulder articulation. That's about as far as they'll move out, but I feel like if this thing could move a little bit more to the side or fold in or something, this could have moved out a lot farther. The arm can rotate a full 360 if it doesn't get stuck. Bicep swivel, and then he does get a wrist swivel, I guess, and then he gets a bend at the wrist or bend at the elbow, I guess is what you want to call that. And then he does have a waist swivel. His hips are a little bit loose, but they're not too loose to where he can't hold up poses. They can bend forward, they can bend back, they can move outward that far. He does have a slightly loose thigh swivel. Double bend at the knee that bends in really far. And then his ankles can move up, they can move down, and he's got amazing ankle pivot. And then finally, he has ball joints on the end of each of these individual spider legs. So yeah, very good and very expressive articulation here on Tarantulas. I sure had a lot of fun posing this guy around. Like, he's just a really, really fun figure to have, especially because I'm a big fan of Beast Wars. But not just that, this character can fit into almost any collection. Your IDW collection, with your Wreckers, he can fit in with Beast Wars. Like, he really is a great figure, and I highly suggest you try to get him if you can. For comparisons, here is Tarantulas compared next to the last Legacy figure I reviewed, the Transformers Prime Universe Knockout. Just because, here he is with Black Arachnia.
Boobies.
And then just because, here he is with the Beast Wars Ravage. If you get the reference, be sure to give me a like on the video or comment it down below. The robot mode already sold me on this figure enough, but that is only half of what this figure can do. And yes, I can say with the utmost confidence after handling this Tarantula mode, this is the best that we've ever seen Tarantulas in a physical toy form in a long while. And this head sculpt on the spider mode looks really good. I love the piercing green eyes. It pops very much. I like the incorporation of the hands to turn into his striped pincers right there. Very clever bit of kibble usage right there. I can't unsee it, but it looks like he has a pair of eggplants on his face. Which, speaking of, this spider doesn't really have any kibble. I mean, the knee pads do kind of stick out right there, and there are the bits of green, but, like, it doesn't matter. It looks great. I love how this spider mode came out. And again, it's got that realistic texturing going all across it. And obviously, I know some people are not that big a fan of spiders, but I really like this figure. I really love how the Tarantula mode came out. And again, really love how these legs are even too. Like, they don't need to be painted for me to like that they're just plain black. Going over the spider mode's articulation, there's nothing in the torso. These just kind of shift from side to side. And then the only other bit of articulation is there's some ball joints here at some of the legs. And that's really about it for the articulation. But overall, I still love the Tarantula. And it holds together really well too. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart either. As far as I know, the buzzsaw can fit here underneath the Tarantula mode, but the grapple gun thing doesn't. So, like, oh, hey, does that count? No, it doesn't. And when Tarantulas is in his Tarantula mode, he really gains quite a bit of, he gains quite the amount of size. Here he is compared next to the Transformers Legacy Knockout, and these are totally in scale. And here, just because here he is with Black Arachnia, I'm really glad that they kept these molds entirely separate and they didn't try to retool anything. It makes them both feel unique to their own character. And then here he is with, oh dear sweet Primus, what is that? I know I've probably said this in the review, but geez, Ravage really needed a different alternate mode. And that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Legacy Tarantulas. And yes, I really think this figure lived up to the hype. Like I said before, the figure is really good on his own. In the robot mode, my only complaint is that the spider legs kind of get in the way of the shoulder posability. But even then, it doesn't really bug me all that much. Get it? Bug. Oh, okay, I'm not doing that again. But the point is, I really love how this figure turned out, especially in both modes. He really feels like he's worth the money, especially in his size, because with all the inflation and all that stuff going on nowadays and Transformers prices going up, I still feel like this guy holds up for the deluxe class price point. As of right now, this is definitely the best Tarantulas, and I highly suggest it for anyone if you're able to get your hands on it. So yeah, that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Beast Wars Legacy Tarantulas. And yes, if I had to give this figure a rating, I give him a very solid 9 out of 10. Just those tiny little gripes just kept him from perfection. One of the things I also didn't mention that I wish he had was a separate waist swivel from his elbow bend, because now I can't really have him like looking like he's typing on the computer unless I rotate his entire arm around. Which isn't that big of an issue, but it is something that I was a little annoying, and then the spider legs get in the way, and yada yada. But yeah, I still really love this figure, and he definitely lived up to the hype, at least for me, with Tarantulas. So yeah, that's basically it for my review. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give me a like on the video, comment down below what you guys think, and be sure to let me know what you want to see me review next, and I'll, subscribe, like, comment, and I'll catch you guys next time.